check 1 2 1 2. chance that he has, which is 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you don't mind. Try to see.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Yeah, you can hear it. It's just that back, like the buzz in the end. Experiencing technical difficulties here in the top of the first inning. We are going to pick things up with 1 out with the number 2 hitter for the St. Mary Gales, Dante Freeman, the shortstop, who is batting .318 on the year with 6 home runs and 22 runs batting in. On the bump for the Blue Jays is Nathan Aruda, the pitcher from Canada. He's having a solid year this year. We'll get you some statistics on him in a moment. So 1-1 count in the top of the first with 1 out. Aruda from the windup. Ball low. Count goes to 2-1. Aruda on the year has a .425 ERA with a 7-3 win-loss record. He's pitched a total of 66 innings on the year. Breaking ball hits Freeman. And here in the top of the first, we have a man on first with 1 out. And that brings up 3-hole hitter Dylan Carrender, the second baseman, who has 5 home runs and 35 runs batted in. He's having a solid campaign. Carrender's from Lee Summit, Missouri. The runner's going on the play, and there will be no play. The runner was trying to advance to third, but thought better of it. So man on second with 1 out. Vicentine, the catcher for the Blue Jays. We'll go over the starting lineups for your Blue Jays here in a second. Aforementioned Aruda on the mound. Dominic Vicentine, the catcher. And from left to right in the infield, you have third baseman William Clark, shortstop Yo-Yo Alicea, second baseman Kyle Baker, and first baseman William Pope. Aruda from the stretch with the 1-0 count. Breaking ball catches the outside corner. In your outfield, you have left fielder Jaden Alsop, center fielder Freddie Walker, and right fielder the senior Jackson Hoagie. hits the outside corner, strike 3. And there are 2 outs here at the top of the first. With the cleanup hitter for St. Mary's, Juan Gerardo. Gerardo on the year has 7 home runs with 29 runs batted in, the lefty from Wilmington, California. From the strip of 2 outs, swing and a miss with a fastball. The lineup for St. Mary's this afternoon. Leading off for them is the center fielder Shun Sunada, shortstop Dante Freeman bats second, batting third the second baseman Dylan Carrender. Up now is the cleanup hitter, the catcher Juan Gerardo. Rooted from the stretch, breaking ball. That's a nice pitch. I believe he went. Yes, he did. 0-2 count. Batting fifth for St. Mary's is the first baseman Andrew Berry, the designated hitter batting sixth Sam Miller, the third baseman batting seventh Alexis Ramos. Batting eighth, the left fielder Jared Goss, and coming around batting ninth, right fielder Cameron Richardson. Pitching for St. Mary's is Matt Weiss. Freeman with a modest lead off the second, rooted from the stretch with the 0-2 count. There's a lot of pitches to work with in this situation. Puts back Freeman at second, from the stretch, fires a fastball, pops him up to the left side. William Clark gives chase, but it is out of play. Fastball in the dirt. Vincentine has a play at third. Good throw, and I believe he gets him for the out number 3. Solid throw there by Dominic Vincentine and gets the Blue Jays out of the top of the first. And there you have it. 4 up, 3 down. We'll go to the bottom of the first. Bump for St. Mary's is Matt Weiss. On the year, he has a 3.96 ERA with a 5-6 win-loss record. He's thrown over 90 innings. He's been a workhorse for St. Mary's. Jays is shortstop number 7, Yo-Yo Alisea. He is having a solid year from the leadoff spot. He has 15 home runs on the year. But going back to Weiss, he's pitched over 90 innings, which is a lot of innings here at the college level. The count goes to 1-1. Beg your pardon, 0-2. Yo-Yo on the year, 41 runs batted in, and for a top of the lineup hitter, that is a lot of RBIs. And he looks at a ball right just off the outside corner there to pull the count to 1-2. Weiss goes from the windup. The pitch just a little bit low. Weiss from Bakersfield, California. The 2-2 count goes from the windup. Yo-Yo swings, hits it softly to the second baseman, who gloves it nicely. For out number 1. Up next is a center fielder, Freddie Walker. Freddie on the year is hitting .270 with 2 home runs and 24 runs batted in. Going back to the pitcher, Matt Weiss, he has 58 strikeouts and 91 innings pitched. He's given up only 3 home runs on the year. He's walked 26 batters. So not a prolific strikeout pitcher. Freddie looks at that one for a 1-1 count. Freddie has walked 27 times on the year. Looks at that one for a ball. 2-1 count with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Weiss from the windup. Fires a fastball in there. Freddie hits it to the shortstop, who's able to corral it and make the nice throw to first. We'll give you the St. Mary's defense here in a second. From left to right, you have third baseman Alexis Ramos. You have the shortstop Dante Freeman, the second baseman Dylan Carrender, and the first baseman Andrew Berry. The outfield for St. Mary's is left fielder Jared Goss, center fielder Shun Tsunoda, and the right fielder Cameron Richardson. And up next for the Blue Jays is a 3-hole hitter, Jackson Hoagie, who's having a great year this year. We'll get you some statistics on him in a second. He's batting well over 400. The senior from Canada. As mentioned before, this is senior day here in Hillsboro. Jackson is batting .408 on the year. He has 8 home runs with 51 runs batted in. That's tops on the team. Weiss from the windup again throws a strike. Count goes to 1-2. So bottom of the first here, 2 outs, no man on. Weiss has retired the first 2 batters via ground out. Hoagie digs in. The pitch from Weiss is a fastball way up high. Count goes to 2-2. Jackson from Calgary, Canada. One of a few Canadians here on the team, as I mentioned earlier. Aruda, the pitcher, is from Toronto. Weiss from the windup. Breaking ball. Jackson rips it down the third base line, foul. So we'll do 2-2 again. Jackson has 18 doubles on the year and has walked 25 times. Calls timeout. Got a little fly in his eye. He's only struck out 16 times on the year. So he's not a strikeout victim much. Weiss from the windup again. Fires a fastball on the outside corner. Jackson Hoagie does not like that call, as he attests to it. But 3 up, 3 down for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the first inning. We'll go to the top of the second with Aruda back on the bump. St. Mary's is number 25, the catcher, Juan Gerardo. He actually came to bat in the top of the first, but a runner was thrown out at third from a strong throw by Vicentine, so he's back up here in the second. Arruda from the windup with a nice breaking ball in there for a strike. So 0-1 count here in the top of the second, nobody out. Arruda on the year has striking out 62 batters, and a swing and a miss there from Gerardo. That's a fastball in there, he couldn't catch up to the heat. So close to 9 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched for Arruda, which is a solid ratio. Per comparison, the pitcher for St. Mary's has pitched over 90 innings and has 55 strikeouts on the year. Arruda from the windup, 0-2 count. Fastball in there. Has a lot of pitches to choose from here with a 1-2 count on their cleanup hitter. Gerardo on the year, as mentioned earlier, has 7 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Arruda from the stretch, breaking ball and pulled foul down the first base line. First base coach for St. Mary's showing off some nimble feet, getting out of the way of that one. Arruda's walked 35 men on the year. The windup, the 1-2 count, fastball, just missed the outside corner. Well, 2-2 count. Last game out against Friends, which was a big game in the conference race. He came out and pitched great, striking out only 4, but only giving up minimal runs. And that ball hit Gerardo, but Gerardo appeared to lean into the pitch, and that's what the umpire is saying. So instead of a free pass to first base, that's going to run the count to 3-2, I believe. I believe that would be called a ball. The ball hit Gerardo, but it was a breaking pitch, it was a slow pitch, and he appeared to lean into it just ever so slightly. Didn't make any play to get out of the way. And so instead of going to first base, the umpire signals that that is just a ball. So we'll go to a full count. Arruda's already hit a batter in the game in the first inning. But the payoff pitch is coming up from Arruda from the windup. He's going to fire a breaking ball in there. Just misses the outside corner again, and Gerardo sprints to first base. So a man on first, nobody out. And that's going to bring up the first baseman for St. Mary's, Andrew Berry. On the year, Berry is batting .291. Has 1 dinger, 17 runs batted in. Gerardo with a modest leaf off of first base. Arruda from the stretch. Fastball a little bit outside. On the year, Tabor is 30-16 overall. In conference, they are 21-6. They are in sole possession of second place. And with a little bit of luck and a sweep this weekend, they can be in possibly first place. As the count goes to 1-1 here in the top of the second, nobody else, man on first. I believe there's a courtesy run in for St. Mary's. We'll try to get you a name here in a second. Arruda from the stretch with the 1-1 count. Fastball a little bit low. Temperature at game time here is 66 degrees, and I don't see a cloud in the sky. I'm also not outside to see any clouds, but I just see it's nothing but sunny. Berry, the right-hander, digs in. The runner's going for first base. That ball's fouled off to the left side. Vicentin had a shot to get him at second. He didn't get a great jump. Their batter for St. Mary's, Andrew Berry, is a native of Kansas from Mulvane. Is prone to striking out a lot on the year, as he does right there. He waves and misses. And that will be the first man retired here in the top of the second. The next batter is a designated hitter, Sam Miller. Sam Miller, another native from Kansas, Leavenworth, is batting .247 on the year. Doesn't have any home runs, 5 runs batted in. Tries to pick off the man on first, but number 44, Brown, gets back. Ruder already has 2 strikeouts on the afternoon. On the stretch. Runner's going again from first, and that ball's fouled back. Not sure if that was a hit and run, or if Miller was just swinging to get a hit there. So the 0-1 count here in the top of the second with 1 out. Aruda looks back, the runner at first, throws it that way just to keep him honest. Brown, another native from Kansas, as the batter Miller pops that one up. Cameron Pope may have lost in the sun, and he did, and that will be a fair ball, but Yo-Yo, being on top, Johnny on the spot, is able to retire the man at second. So William Clark, the third baseman, lost the ball in the sun, as there are no clouds in the sky today to shield any sort of ball, and Yo-Yo Alisea was able to be Johnny on the spot, ran all the way over to pick up the ball and throw out the runner at second. So that would be a force out. That will bring up the third baseman, Alexis Ramos, from Puerto Rico. Doesn't have any home runs on the year, with 7 runs batted in. So with 2 outs here in the top of the second, Aruda goes from the stretch, a breaking ball outside, just misses. And that actually works out in Tabor's favor, as the runner at first, Brown, seemed to be a speedy guy and he attempted to steal second on a few occasions, and now they have the designated hitter, Miller, over there at first base, and he doesn't seem to be as fast as Brown was, so it's a win by default. Breaking ball just misses, goes to a 2-0 count. Batter Alexis Ramos is batting $197 on the year. Aruda looks back to run out first, coming from the stretch with a 2-0 count. Fires a fastball on there on the outside corner, just missed it, umpire says. That runs it to a 3-0 count. So just got to get it across the plate here. I don't think Ramos is looking for much to hit, so if you just throw it in the strike zone and try to come back in the count, and he fires in there. Ramos just stood there, didn't load, didn't anything, looking for a walk. Count goes to 3-1. Let's see if Ramos has a green light to swing here. Aruda from the stretch again. And that ball is outside, walks him. Man on first and second. That's going to bring up the left fielder, Jared Goss, the a-hole hitter. On the year, he's batting .235. No home runs and 3 RBIs. The native of Harrison, Missouri. So a couple runners here in the top of the second for St. Mary's. Aruda from the stretch fires a fastball on the outside corner in for a strike. St. Mary's has had 3 base runners so far today. None of them via hits, all by walks or base on balls. Order from the stretch, ball down there low. 1-1 count. 2 outs here. The top of the second. Stretch fires the fastball in there. That ball is poked into right field. Jackson Hoagie has a beat on it, and that's going to be out number 3. So no damage done, no hits in the top of the second, and we go to the bottom of the second with your Blue Jays coming up. As mentioned before, it is senior day here at Tabor College, and we're just going to go through a list of all the seniors that are playing their last home game here today. And the first senior we have on the list is Mitchell McIntyre. He is one of the 3 pitchers that pitches on the weekend. He is pitching in the second game this afternoon. He is a native of Wichita, Kansas. He transferred in this year. It's his first year and only year, and he's pitched a solid year. But as we go to the game here, the batter is the first baseman, William Pope. Cameron Pope, beg your pardon. Weiss from the windup. As mentioned before, Weiss is not a prolific strikeout pitcher. He pitches to contact, but he eats a lot of innings, as he has over 90 innings pitched on the year. He goes from the windup, and Pope grounds that one, deflects off the glove of the pitcher, and he's able to beat it out in there for the first hit of the game. Pope is batting .338 on the year. He had 6 bombs and 36 runs batted in, and was able to. It wasn't the hardest of hit balls, but the pitcher deflected it and rerouted the shortstop, as he wasn't able to get to the ball quick enough. And so there's a man on first with nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. And that brings up second baseman Kyle James, who's been injured the last few weeks, but he's a senior from Bakersfield, California, batting .300 on the year. Has 2 home runs with 22 runs batted in. Pickoff attempt from Weiss to first base. Matt Weiss, the pitch for St. Mary's from the stretch, delivers a ball. Looked a little bit low, but it's in there for a call strike. Cameron Pope is the first base runner here for the Blue Jays this afternoon. Takes his lead off of first. 0-1 count to Kyle James, the second baseman, senior, playing his last home game here. James, one of the few starters back from last year's squad that went to the NAIA tournament, national tournament. Weiss from the stretch. James nubs that one to first base, and the first baseman goes to second for one and throws the ball almost into the first base dugout. So it works out for St. Mary's. They have a man down. I believe it is their shortstop, as there may have been a collision with Cameron Pope sliding in a second to try to break up the turn. Didn't see anything dirty. However, he looks like he is in a lot of pain. the seniors here at Tabor, as the second senior is number 33, Manny Pantaleon from New York City, New York. And he got number 12, Alfredo Perez from Puerto Rico. The next senior on the list is number 7, shortstop Yo-Yo Alicea, also from Puerto Rico. Went to junior college here in Kansas. He's had a pretty solid career here at Tabor, as he's a leadoff man batting over 400. The next senior is Skylar Cone, the relief man who's suffered an unfortunate injury from Mesa, Arizona. He was going to be one of the top relief guys this year, but he's dealing with a number of injuries, and unfortunately wasn't able to pitch as much as he liked. And the next senior on the list is Kyle James, the man who just batted, and he's had a good 2-year career at Tabor from Bakersfield, California. Weiss from the stretch. Graham Weeb is the man up, and he hits that one to deep to right field and into the track. The right fielder's going to let it bounce. So the sun has been a problem here. James is going to try to go to first to third, and he's going to be able to do it. So that's going to count as a single, as the right fielder, Cameron Richardson for the St. Mary Gales. He lost it in the sun. He broke towards the infield, and then he broke back all the way to the warning track, and the ball bounced in the grass right before him. That's going to go down as a hit, not an error. But the sun definitely a factor here this afternoon, as the Blue Jays misplayed a ball in the infield, but still were able to manufacture an out, and a hidden ball trick by St. Mary's unsuccessfully almost caught Kyle James off guard. So the third baseman, Alexis Ramos, trying to play a little backyard baseball there, almost got him off guard, and as I wasn't even sure he had the ball, and now the coach for St. Mary's is coming out to attest to the call. James wandered off third ever so slightly, and Ramos came from behind and tagged him, but I don't even think the umpires knew what was going on, as they weren't even looking. The St. Mary's coach gets an explanation from the field and the home plate umpire. He's still out there protesting the call. To be honest, I don't think any umpire here was looking at third baseman. So even if he was out, they had no idea. So they called him safe. And right now, as we have it, there's a runner on first and third with one out. So the Blue Jays threatening. And the coach for St. Mary's still, he's out there protesting the call. We have great news here in Hillsborough, as the third baseman, Jake Jones, a graduate assistant Tabor legend, proposed to his girlfriend, and she said yes right before the game here on Senior Day in Hillsborough, Kansas. So we'd like to congratulate them on their big day. And he's over there at third base consoling Kyle James, who wandered off the third base bag and almost got caught off guard by the hidden ball trick by the third baseman from St. Mary's. And the coach has been out there for a solid few minutes protesting the call unhappily. And he's got his 2 cents worth now. He goes back to the dugout. Nothing changes. Graham Weeb was another player out of Canada. He's in today designated hitting. That brings up third baseman William Clark. Clark was another guy who had trouble with the sun in the top of the second inning. Couldn't find the pop-up in the infield, but Yo-Yo Alicea was able to corral it and get the runner at second. The first pitch in there for a ball. Count goes to 1-0. Only one out. Runners on first and third. Clark waves and misses that one. Count goes to 1-1. Ball scanters away from the catcher, but not far enough to get Kyle James home. Weiss probably looking for a double play ball here. Weave takes a modest lead off of first base. The pitcher attempts to pick him off, but not in time. rockets that one to center fielder, playable, but it should be able to get the run in from third. Kyle James sprinting home. They have no play. So the first run is in here in the bottom of the second. William Clark lines out to the center fielder, but is able to get Kyle James home from third base. So 1-0 is your score here in the bottom of the second. Brings up left fielder number 55, Jaden Alsop. St. Mary's on the year is 7-34 overall with a 7-21 in conference record. Alsop waves and misses that pitch in the dirt. Alsop on the year is batting .237 with a couple of home runs, but 11 runs batted in. He's up here with 2 outs with a 0-1 count, runner at first. Weiss from the stretch. Alsop fouls that one off to the right side. 0-2 count. Has to choke up a little bit here. Protect the strike zone. Put something in play. Alsop is a home hitter. You got catcher Dominic Vicentine waiting on deck. Fastball high. A lot of the home games have been in the 30s. Not great baseball weather, but we are blessed here today. They have the temperatures in the 60s, clear skies, sun shining. The count goes to 2-2 with 2 outs, runner at first. Catcher tried to frame that one in a way that looked like a strike, but it was off the plate. It goes to a 3-2 count. Graham Weave will be running as it is a full count with 2 outs. The first baseman doesn't even bother to go to the bag. Weiss from the stretch. Weave runs, fastball, Alsop fouls it off, so we're going to do it again. Payoff pitch coming up in a second. Alsop has battled back from an 0-2 count to run it full. I think he'll take a walk here. Anyway, get on base. Alsop waves and misses as a pitch in the dirt. But the Blue Jays are able to get 1 run here in the bottom of the second and off of 2 hits. So we'll go to the top of the third with St. Mary's coming up. It's a good opportunity for us to get back to the seniors here. The next senior on the list is number 35, Brett Haney, the native of Henderson, Nevada. His major is sports management. And he would like to thank his family and the coaching staff for letting him continue his baseball career here at Tabor College. The next player on the list is number 25, Kellen Reed, the big man from Lindstrom, Minnesota. He is a Fortnite enthusiast. He is nationally ranked on all accounts. And he'd like to thank his family for their continuous support. And he is happy to come here to Tabor. He would also like to thank his coaches and teammates for providing memories that will last him a lifetime. The next senior on the list is Tommy Slava. This is his second senior day. We'll get to that story later. He is from Pleasant Grove, California, and he is Tabor's top relief man, as his K per 9 innings is astonishing. That ratio is good for him. He is his major is master's. Well, he's getting his master's in business administration, as he was a graduate assistant at the beginning of the year, and he was able to get an extra year of eligibility in from the NAIA. Blake Staniford, number 22, is the next senior on the list. He is the son of the skipper, Coach Staniford, and he is also starting his master's in business administration. His favorite memory here at Tabor was going to the NAIA World Series as a freshman. And that brings us back to the game. Up for St. Mary's is the right fielder, Cameron Richardson. Aruda, the pitcher for the Blue Jays, has not allowed a hit, and he's striking out a couple men today, walked a couple men. He goes from the windup. Fastball a little bit high. He's showcased just his fastball and a curve so far. He's usually the day one pitcher of the weekend series this year for the Blue Jays. Had a solid campaign. That fastball goes high. Aruda from the windup, 2-0 count. Nobody out, and count goes to 3-0 on the 9-hole hitter for St. Mary's. So if you look at Aruda's win-loss, solid, so you know his teammates like playing for him, and he walks a man right there, and it takes us back to the top of the lineup for St. Mary's. The center fielder, Shun Sanuda from Japan. I more than likely butchered that name, but it's okay. On the year, he's batting over 300. Doesn't have any home runs with 19 runs batted in. So runner on first, nobody out here in the top of the third inning. Aruda from the stretch. Hasn't allowed a hit so far, but he's allowed 4 base runners to get on base. Sanuda showed bunt, pulled it back, 1-0 count. So we'll go from the 1-0 count. Aruda trying to find the strike zone. His stuff is looking good, just can't find the plate some of the time. St. Mary's hasn't been able to get a hit off of him, so no solid contact made so far. He has 2 strikeouts, and that ball is right down the middle. Fastball looking good. So with the 1-1 count, the center fielder from Japan up for St. Mary's. Aruda from the stretch, another fastball. Shows bunt again. Fouls it behind the plate. We'll go to a 1-2 count, so Aruda has a lot of pitchers to choose from here, whether he goes back to his fastball or his breaking ball. We'll see. Later on, we might be able to get Mitchell McIntyre back here in the booth. He gives a lot of good insight on all the pitchers and all their breaking stuff and all their extra pitches. So right now with the 1-2 count, nobody out here in the top of the third. Runner with a big lead off of first base, and he's running. That ball's outside. Vincentine fires it down to second base. Not in time. Ball skips into center field, but the runner will not advance. It shows a good pitch to run on, as that was a breaking ball in the dirt. Vincentine was able to dig it out, but the runner got a great jump, had a big lead off of first base. Cameron Richardson, the runner at first, that was able to advance to second with the stolen base. So runner in scoring position here with nobody out in the top of the third. A good opportunity for St. Mary's to cash in. 2-2 count with their with their leadoff man up. A breaking ball, and Sonoda was able just to barely get a piece of that one. So we'll go to a 2-2 count just once again. Aruda does have good strikeout numbers on the year, as he's striking out a man per 9 innings. 9 men per 9 innings, beg your pardon. Comes from the stretch again. Breaking ball, and Sanuda just barely waded that one. Swung and missed. Caught him off guard. Great pitch for the first out. That's what you needed. Brings up the 2-place hitter, Dante Freeman, who was hurt in the last half inning in a collision at second base, but he looks fine here. Was able to get to first base in his first at bat via a hit by pitch. Aruda could use another strikeout here. That ball is driven down the line, foul.